Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Hear from me, four-time Olympic gold medalist Michael Johnson, on the Data Brilliant podcast from data leaders Click. I talked to Click's Joe Dos Santos about the role of data in my running career and in my business today as I help prepare future athletes. Tune in to hear us as we discuss the psychological and personal qualities needed to be a champion and how data can help you recognize what it takes to win. Search Data Brilliant on your preferred podcast platform to listen now.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
Here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
It's 286. Chris.
I'm Aaron.
Back.
We're back from the holidays are officially over now.
Yes. Regular life.
Settling down. Yep. Get back to work.
Yeah.
Get up on time. Time to go to the job. I welcome back some structure.
Yeah. My beard goes away in the morning.
As a person who enjoys
playoff beard
cannabis, having time off is fun. Having time off where you have days on end where you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to leave the house if you're well stocked enough.
Yeah.
Everything just turns into a blur.
Yeah, I find once I get into what day is it mode, it's time to go back to work.
Right. I'm not comfortable in that. I like having, enough time to do that. And
when somebody asks you what day it is, and you say the day of the week with a question mark behind it, it's time to go back to work.
Right.
Day of the week, Saturday?
You get
and then when you're
anything
wrong,
more than one beat, and I'm suspicious.
Yeah. And then when you're wrong, it's definitely time to go back to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got a bit of that. And, I spent a lot of it with my kids too, but we didn't have to really go out at all. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. We didn't have to go out.
Leaving the house.
Yeah. We played video games the whole time. It's all about the video games. I have teens now, and Christmas is just about, I just want them to have stuff that they want. This whole trying to surprise them and picking and doing some kind of theme or whatever, just forget about it. I'm just going to talk to them, and we're going to figure out what it is that they want and how I can make that happen.
Yeah.
I proposed, I was like, I want to talk to you guys ahead of the time about this. What are we going to do? I'm thinking that you guys would enjoy the Switch video game system, the Nintendo one, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have the Switch Lights Out. Not Switch Lights Out. The Switch Lights.
The Switch Lights
are a product that are out, yeah. And reasonably affordable, and they like that idea. But then with my son, actually, my daughter really liked the idea. My son really, he's a hard one to just get to commit to anything, just to being excited about anything, really. So it's harder to get it out of him. And also he's a little bit older, so I'm thinking like maybe the Switch is, he needs like a PlayStation or an Xbox or something like that.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing, I had a Switch already. I bought a PlayStation 4, a used one.
Oh.
I got some games for it. And I just gave him the option. I'm like, you want the PlayStation or you want the Switch? And he ended up taking the Switch because I'm like, either way, you're going to get to play it. You're going to come over here and play my PlayStation 4. That's fine. But the Switch you can take home back and forth with you. So I gave my son the Switch. Mm-hmm. I then got the PlayStation 4.
There you go.
Yeah. So it all works out. And honestly, like if
everyone gets a console.
If he ends up going, you know what, I'm not playing the Switch so much, I'll be like, take the PlayStation 4. I'll take the Switch. It doesn't matter.
And as a 40-year-old man, I'd be like, fuck you, give me the PS4.
Well, yeah, I have to admit,
but he's what, 16,
the PS4
17?
is probably going to eat up more of my time than the Switch was. Not that I didn't put a decent amount into Mario Kart and the Zelda game and all that.
But he's like, what, 16, 17?
He's 16. Yeah.
Yeah, whole different world now with the youngsters. Well, I just call them youngsters.
He's mostly into the PC stuff and not so much even the big graphical, big games.
Me at 16, give me the PlayStation, please.
Yeah.
Wait, did he? Yeah, I think PlayStation 1 came out when I was in college. But if I was 16 now, but then again, I don't know.
I remember
might be wired like him.
I had the first PlayStation, and I think I was like 19. Yeah.
I had PS1.
Wasn't it like 99? No, that wouldn't make me 19.
And then I didn't have a PlayStation again until PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I skipped over the 3. So I had a 1, a 2. I never had a 3. I got a 4 now that they finally announced that the 5 is coming out this year. But I'm sure they'll still support this for a while. And even that, like, these games are a lot more advanced than anything that I played on those prior systems. Bought Death Stranding. I played that for 2 hours and did nothing but hike and watch cutscenes. But you just kind of have to like get you into because the game is so fucking complex. If they throw everything at you at once, you're just like, I don't know what to do. I just the guy kills me and then
can I just hit X?
Right.
How do I duck?
Yeah. So Death Stranding was one that I've played a bit of. The Spider-Man game is great.
Well, I'd imagine it's got at this point you have to just look like you're controlling a movie.
Yeah. Like whatever they do with the 5, I don't know how much better this can get and why I would need that. If the game gets any more complex, I'm going to start tuning out again, I think. Because I'm right at the edge of that with Death Stranding. Like I keep going back to it. I'm like, I get what they're going for, this kind of realistic feel of traversing terrain and building things and all that. Mm-hmm. This is really more the next step to Minecraft, in my opinion, than it is a game like, any kind of first person, like, Resident Evil type of game. Mm-hmm. It's way more technical.
Now, that also seems to be the new hotness with the young kids is the building games.
Yeah, the crafting.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in Horizon Zero Dawn is another one where you're a caveman in the future who fights robot dinosaurs.
I mean, I guess our generation had like The Sims?
Right.
That was like our Minecraft.
And a lot of that, that's all coming together in these games. So you've got so it's part Tomb Raider. You're running around, jumping over stuff, shooting stuff. You're fighting big monsters. You're fighting people. But there is a lot of The Sims in there and a lot of Minecraft in there. You have to make your arrows. You have to make materials. You're not just given things. You just don't find. I mean, you can buy like certain things, but mostly you're finding things and using them. And you're also building relationships. When you're having a conversation with a character, it's not just to get some part of the plot out of the way so that you can get on to the next mission. It's actually giving you choices. Depending on how this person reacts to what you have to say, they may or may not give you a mission. Or the actions of that mission might negate any future missions from coming from somebody else because the person that you were told to kill was also somebody who could give you part of the game that you're now closed off to.
So
right?
it's Warcraft.
It's strategy too, yeah. Yeah.
It's
role playing.
Yeah.
You're building up your character with experience points, and it's like all the. I'm talking about
it's Warcraft
Horizon,
with a different skin.
I'm talking about Death Stranding.
Yeah.
I played some Fallout that was a lot like that too. All these elements these games are not just the next evolution of a game like Doom, where like run through this maze and kill everything you see, right? Mm-hmm. It's Doom plus all these other video games all being put together in one thing. And while usually I was just the guy to skip through the cutscenes, because first of all, they'll probably tell you what your mission is anyway if you just pause the game and read the screen. You don't have to watch 3 minutes of bad animation to figure this stuff out. They kind of walk you through it. But in this case, not only do you have to sit through these scenes and watch, you have to participate and choose which way the conversation's going. And
choose your own adventure.
So it's engaging enough that it flows a lot better for you as well. So overall, this is really my first real experience with these types of, I don't know what you'd call them. They're just like immersive games, Mm-hmm. This is stuff that goes even further than Grand Theft Auto. It's not just about open world. It's about making choices, building a character the way that you want, like you do in a role-playing game. Mm-hmm. This is much more like role-playing games that have translated to video games have tend to be these turn-based things, right? Which is how it's laid out when you do it in Dungeons and Dragons. You go around the horn. There's a certain priority of who gets the next attack, but it's also like reading a book. When you read a book and you read an action scene, you put it all together in your head. They have to describe it, and it takes a paragraph, but you're imagining in your head, this all happens in a second. So you're, in the same way in Dungeons and Dragons, you're imagining this as a group, that this is not happening in a turn-based way, that you're able to play with the time in your head to have it make sense. So I've gone on so many tangents, I don't know how to work my way back from them. But all that is to say, like, the overall experience, this is much more that experience of playing with a group of friends in an actual campaign and building up a character, controlling not just the appearance of that character and the decisions that they make, but the type of person that they are. In Dungeons and Dragons, it's about picking an alignment. But even then, you pick an alignment, and
it's supposed to motivate your decision making.
It's an outline, but it doesn't really mean anything, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody is badass, and they're like, I'm chaotic neutral, like I'm a nihilist. I don't believe in anything. But all of a sudden, somebody who they've grown kind of fond of in their group gets fucked with, and they're like, they step up as the protector, right? They all of a sudden give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really do alignments maybe in some of these video games they do, but it's kind of a moot point because your alignment is, like in life, decided moment by moment. Every interaction that you have with the character, not to exaggerate, it's not that you have all these choices with every character. There's certainly a guided experience that you're following along. Somebody tells you to talk to somebody else. But yes.
If you're DM,
we're getting much nerdier on this. But yeah, I think there was a part of the big reason why I never got a PS3 is because there was that gap that just didn't do it for me. There were games that were more open world and had more choices and seemed more, intricate in story and all this, but it always seemed imaginary. There was always something that took you out of the moment. Like, how come ammo is just laying everywhere? Like, it's lined up in the street like it's Pac-Man, and I just mow it down. There's no...
Hey, look, bullets.
Right. It's figuring out the right type of resistance to give you to keep things interesting without making a game nigh impossible, And I think that it's finally getting to that level where it is fully engaging for me. So it's a totally different video game experience. Mostly growing up, what do we know? Like puzzle games and adventure side scrollers. Like, it's just all about dexterity and, figuring out and problem solving.
Hey, it took me a decade and a half to wrap my head around more than 2 buttons.
Right. But,
wait, there's more than B and A.
But Mario doesn't take you into the world.
Yet.
Video games have, within the last handful of years, this latest evolution with the Xbox One and the PS4, have started to finally step into the same realm of art as everything else. And it's not to degrade what came before it. But for me, and for everyone really, everyone's got their own personal taste, but television, movies, novels, or fiction, well-written nonfiction, comic books, all have immersive qualities. All have the ability, when they are at their peak, to suck you in, to bring you fully into that world. And video games...
Podcasts?
Only are now just getting to that part. Like, they're a fine and fun time waster when it's like Tetris or...
That's true, yeah. It's...
Pac-Man, whatever. But these are a different thing. This is actually video games finally stepping into the realm of art, of pure art. Not like graphic design as art.
Yeah.
Like, this is...
Yeah, the full, true, immersive experience.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to be overly blowhard about it. I'm sure many people have pointed this out way more than I have. But just from a person who is like, I could do without all these games that are trying to suck me in, right? Because I know it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. I'm the guy who is like standing out. I walk down the strip and see magicians on the billboard. I'm like, I'm going to figure out that this is all hooey anyways. They can't sucker me, right?
Yeah.
I know that even though it looks impossible, they've got some trick cards, they've got some magnets somewhere, a few extra pockets.
You know it's a bunch of bullshit already.
Right. But then you go and see a magician and he just blows your mind. And you stop thinking about where did that come from and just accept, like everyone else in the crowd is, that this guy is doing magic. You watch their hands a few times and you're like, I'm going to figure this out. And you got nothing. And then you just go, you give up. You succumb. Only with the magician, he's got you for what, 45 minutes, an hour max? I mean, that's probably a long magic show. A game is like, we got about 40 to 60 hours of gameplay just to get through the main mission, That's a hunk of your life. So I've really enjoyed having this PS4 over the holiday break. How much I'm going to get to the fully immersive experience and hold down a job, we'll see.
You realize how much better the world would be if we all just treated each other the same way black dudes treat magicians? I'm serious. What if homophobic people saw gay people and be like, it's so gross, I don't understand this lifestyle, why do I need to get married, blah, 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 blah. Oh wait, this doesn't affect my life at all, and any love and joy in the world is a beautiful thing. It's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. That'd be a better way for them to conduct themselves.
I feel like that's how we should, that should be our opinion of the J.J. Abrams, the last Star Wars movie, not to go back to what we were talking about before, but yeah, you walk out of there going, he could have done this, he should have done that, this is weird, that is weird, and then stop and consider that just getting any successful movie made seems like it's pulling teeth in a nigh impossible task, and to actually do it and have 4 decades worth of history to wrap up and millions of fans to make happy.
Well, it's just
we should be jumping around going, that's amazing that he was even able to make that comprehensible.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, while it isn't my favorite, like I said, the whole time, looking back on it, I'm like, the guy's trying to fix and wrap up a story at the same time.
Right. Well, it reminded me, too, of I saw 2 headlines right back to back. One about how poorly received the new Star Wars movie is from fans, and the other one about how it's just on the precipice of making $1 billion. So is it really poorly received?
No. Because,
or did you have 20 guys on Twitter freaking out and went like, well, there's mixed reviews on this one, I guess.
Yeah. How many times do I have to say it? 24 idiots on Twitter is not news.
Right.
Well, no, because it's...
The dollar tells you, right?
Yeah, well, I know everything, too. Rotten Tomatoes, there's 30 points between the audience and the critics. Critics are in the 50s, audience is in the 80s. Yeah. So that's how I knew it didn't suck. And like I said, then we did this in the last Jedi. It's like the critics have it in like the 90s.
If your opinion of that is that J.J. Abrams shit the bed on the last Star Wars movie, that you are sorely mistaken. That was a competent Star Wars movie.
J.J. Abrams was trying to clean up a bunch of shit that was in the bed.
Right. No, I didn't shit the bed.
Yeah, he was the guy next morning trying to change the sheets.
He was the guy that woke up in it after somebody climbed in, shat the bed, and then left.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he got up and was like, what the fuck?
Oh, someone shit in his bed.
I didn't have corn.
Yeah. No, I got to clean this up.
There's no way this is mine.
I got to clean this up, and I'm trying to check out in like an hour.
Right. I was supposed to be done with this franchise.
Yeah.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
The Weedsman Podcast.
Just like I thought we were done with the vaping thing. And then, boom, President Trump has to come out with
He met in the middle, and I won't be affected. So. Well,
yeah. He at least seemed to tackle the problem directly, which was the pre-made the cartridges.
Oh God, I know I'm sounding old again. He's going at the one that the kids are actually getting a hold of, the pods.
Right.
Because my wife has 2 teenage siblings. One is of age, one is not. They've both been doing the pod-based vaping since before one of them was of age.
The Juul or something like that. Right. So the tank stuff, anything that you buy in a bottle and put into another device is still going to be available. And I think that is where you find most of the problems is with the pre-made
the pods.
The pods, the cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I keep forgetting the word cartridge, but that's what it is. So big news for Juul. I don't know if they were expecting that or not.
Well, no, I guess they just better. It's all tobacco flavors from here on out, isn't it?
Right, that's true. Juul does offer tobacco and menthol flavors, right? They don't just do the fruit flavors. So, right, on one hand, I don't like the ban on vaping at all. On the other hand, if you're going to, at least I see the logic in going after the pod-based stuff. Outside of, we know most of these problems are due to mostly black market THC cartridges.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that that Juul hasn't had their problems with pods.
Well, also too, while we were on the break, nationally, you have to be 21 to buy any tobacco products, any nicotine.
Oh, that's right. Oh, dude, on top of that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Those two things compounded could completely kill Juul.
Yeah. How are seniors going to get cigarettes for the freshmen now?
And there is endotoxin. It's a microbial agent and a component of the exterior cell wall of certain types of bacteria, including E. coli, that were found in Juul pods. These were a team of scientists that studied them at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. They found traces of two different microbial toxins in specifically not just pods, but Juul nicotine vaping pods. So it's fruit-flavored pods.
Fruit and mint, isn't it, that they're banning?
Right. So what is it?
Well, that's the thing. It's the same ingredients.
Is it pods?
Yeah.
Is it if pods are the problem, then why do you why allow us to sell then still the nicotine and menthol flavors?
And if fruit flavors, I tried to explain it to my family over the holidays because they're like, "Oh, is that fruit flavor?" Blah 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 blah, and I'm like,
and if fruit flavors are the problem,
flavor is still available. It's the same shit. It's just a different flavoring. So how is it?
Yes, if fruit flavoring is the problem, then why still allow it in the tank-based systems? It's
the difference between regular chips and barbecue chips. It's a different flavor additive, but it's the same thing. Like people don't understand that shit, and that's what I don't understand is, well, we banned the fruit one, so we fixed the problem. You could still get the tobacco flavored ones with the same chemical makeup.
Well, I think we're going to see a shift away from probably the pods and unless they actually get some hardcore regulation involved in these things. I don't think that many people are willing to, even people that I've talked to who sell these stuff on the black market, they're like, I'm not doing cartridges anymore. And
see, cartridges have been showing back up at dispensaries. I'm all happy.
But here's the thing. These, especially the stuff that you get on the black market,
mm-hmm.
They are buying these from in bulk from China. They're not making their own wicks. They're not making their own cartridges for this shit. So who knows what they're doing? They're getting whatever the cheapest deal they can get on 1,000 of these things, have them shipped over, fill it up with the THC, and then sell it. So if something goes in, if there's like lead or bacteria like they found in the Juul pods, if there's anything like that in there, they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's black market. They're not going to test it. And how would they know? But if you're just a, kind of responsible human and don't want to be responsible for harming somebody else unknowingly, then you're just going to go, I'm not messing with that.
Yeah.
Just sell leaf. It sells fine. Yeah. So a completely nonsensical ban on the Juul pods and other things like that. Even Bernie Sanders initially called for the vaping industry to shut down completely, although he later walked that back.
Jesus Christ. It's another thing I tried to explain to my family, too. Like, vaping existed before August of this year.
Yeah.
Like, I've been doing it since before August of this year.
We've got over a decade's worth of actual research that we can pull from, of real-life experiences of people. And it should we should make this decision like we do with anything else, based on the numbers. And if the number is under 100, I'm sorry. We're good.
The percentage is 0.00 anything. Sorry.
Yes.
You want to make
okay?
I know it's cliche. You got to make
one death is too many, right? We agree on that. Only, do you say that every time you start your car?
Yeah.
Do you go drive out onto the road and say, one death, one traffic accident that causes a death is too many?
Ever taking an airplane?
So there's no excuse. Yes, we should do everything that we can. Well, then stay home, right?
You ever drank a cup of coffee?
Right.
You ever smoked a cigarette?
So he was responding
Did you ever
to
eat beef?
Sanders was responding to a question about the youth vaping epidemic at a town hall in Vermont. Or no, I'm sorry, he's from Vermont. I think he was in Iowa. He says the answer is, I think we shut down the industry if they're causing addiction, and if the evidence is that people are getting sick as a result of inhaling a lot of bad stuff. Okay.
Thanks for the scientific analysis there.
Yeah.
Ernie.
Here's
Or
why
Bernie.
you have to walk back a statement
Whatever the
like
fuck your name
that,
is.
though. Oh, he says, certainly not talking about shutting down the industry tomorrow. Yeah, so he has to walk it back a little bit. Here's why he has to walk it back, though. Because if you apply that logic to that problem, then that same logic needs to be applied evenly to other
everything.
problems. Not everything, but if you, again, we're talking about alcohol or prescription drug abuse or anything that people are addicted to that they
How about tobacco?
porn.
There's still a tobacco lobby and a tobacco industry.
Yeah.
Tobacco has been proven
Exactly.
to give you cancer.
So he says, I think we shut down the industry if they're causing addiction. Okay, causing addiction?
Okay, so then-
Causing addiction is the line. So the scene.
So, see a Starbucks?
So you're at risk of being shut down if you're television, if you're gambling,
Yeah.
if you're, you're binge watching on Netflix or you're online gambling or
Video games?
sex,
Yeah.
video games, anything really.
Yeah.
Any type of somebody displays some sort of obsessive.
If your product has sugar
behavior.
in it.
Yes, yeah. Right, you might be at risk
Careful.
of being shut
Yeah,
down.
Bernie, you better be careful with that statement.
And now the second part of his statement, and if the evidence is that people are getting sick as a result of inhaling a lot of bad stuff. Okay, again, I point you to
See, cigarettes.
the automobile,
Yeah.
the cigarette
Yeah. Drive a car.
industry, cities,
Yeah.
sewage plants,
You ever been to New York City and taken a deep breath?
all of New York City. Yes.
When I went to LA, you could see the smog line.
Yeah.
You could see the sky go from brown to blue at a certain point, and vice versa.
Right. So clearly, both the idea of causing addiction and putting something bad out into the environment are not deal breakers for us in any way. These are things that we are willing to accept. It's just a question of how much.
Mm-hmm.
Are we willing to accept that a factory just wantonly spews any type of chemical out into the environment? No. We put certain regulations on them. That doesn't mean that they have no emissions at all. Mm-hmm. It means that we try and control the amount of emissions like we do in a car. We accept that there are emissions and we work to lessen that. I mean, let's shut it down for those reasons. Okay, Bernie.
But you got to remember,
Let's work big to small, right? Vaping is the first one we tackle with this new regimen of yours.
but you have to remember too the audience he's talking to. He's talking to young voters. They're extreme. They're young people.
Yeah. Although they're also the ones vaping, so.
He's got to talk in that language, and that's a good point as well.
Speaking of obsessive behavior and nicotine and addictions, this one's got it all. Noel Gallagher, from Oasis.
Oh boy.
Has apparently 28,000 pounds worth of cigarettes stashed away for when his kids start smoking. And this is not 28,000 pounds as an LBs. This is like the British pound.
I was going to say, in Britain, is this
currency. 28,000 pounds worth of, right? Not in weight.
So there's
but
just
in actual currency.
he's just got free cigarettes just waiting.
Or as the Mirror translates it to 30 grand worth of cigarettes.
Why?
I don't know.
Is this some kind of
stopped
crazy
smoking.
tax dodge or?
That's the crazy thing. He stopped. Yeah, right. I think that he's running cigarettes.
Oh, did he already buy
He's
these
like-
cigarettes?
That's the thing. Like the bobbies show up. They got the tall hats and they got the nightstick, and they're like, "Now, no, where'd you get all these?" I can't do a British accent, I guess, but
Where'd you get oldies fags?
yeah, that's right, exactly. And he's like, "Oh, they're mine." Oh no, but you were
No, they're for my kids. Don't worry.
right. We read that you quit a while back. That's right. They're mine. I'm saving them for my kids.
Yeah. Charlie told me he wants to start smoking.
Noel 52 says he's got tens of thousands of Marlboro Lights, now Marlboro Gold, stashed away at home, waiting for his kids to take them up. He's got to be taking the piss. It must have been between 20 and 50,000 in my house from
How old are
various
his kids?
dressing rooms all over the world.
They're like 4. This is insane.
I used to stockpile them. The high-flying birds, who I saw play at DTE. Frontman, they opened up for Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, those are
so
kids?
No, the High-Flying Birds is his new band.
Oh.
That's not what he calls his kids. The High Flying Birds frontman added, I haven't bought cigs for years. I still got them in a cupboard somewhere from when the kids start smoking. So that was the joke. I mean, come on. When it's like they'll be stale. This is obsessive behavior. This was somebody who probably grew up poor and ended up with a decent amount of money to throw around and more than he knew what to do with. Mm-hmm. And he built it. He
probably
tried
just bought a carton of cigarettes every now and then just to be like,
because he
so
could
I have them.
Right. He was just like.
Then one day looked in the room and went, shit,
well,
I got a lot of cigarettes in here.
Poor people who get money overspend because they do it out of security. Like, I could never get, whatever it was, something stupid like a Twinkie. I could never get a Twinkie when I was a kid. I don't have money for that. We're just here to buy bread and milk. You can't get any candy. And so then you just buy, when you grow up and you have money to spend on it, you buy shitloads of Twinkies. So you can fill that Twinkie-shaped hole from your childhood. And unfortunately, Noel Gallagher just has a cigarette carton-shaped hole from his childhood. And he's willing to pass that on. I mean, all right, it makes a great headline mirror, but I hardly think that was the main intention there.
So we got Carton-Shaped Hole, also the name of his next album.
Carton-Shaped Hole, yeah. Carton-Shaped Hole in my heart.
If anybody cares, it is $36,680 American dollars in cigarettes.
Oh, so it's over 30.
Let's see. Carton of cigarettes, 70.
That again, he says between 20 and 50.
Hold on. All right, hold on.
So,
I'm about to shit all over Noel Gallagher.
Oh, no.
Using just, like, say a carton of cigarettes is $72, because I think I saw that somewhere recently.
What, in England?
No, here.
What?
Just in the American conversion.
What?
It's 94 cartons of cigarettes.
I'm sorry, wait. $72 for a carton of cigarettes?
Yeah. Think about it.
Wow.
A pack of cigarettes is like $7-8. There's 10 packs of cigarettes in
Holy
a carton.
shit, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, dividing, it only comes out to like 94 cartons of cigarettes he's got. You could sell that to Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop, easy, and make some money off of that.
Wait a minute. He's got less than 100 cartons of cigarettes?
Yeah, I did the conversion to dollars and then just divided it by 72. So he's got roughly 100 cartons of cigarettes, which I see why they converted it to money, because it sounds much less spectacular.
Yeah, you're right.
When you say it that way.
Yeah. So he's got a couple houses. He's got dressing rooms. He's kind of hoarding, but it's not like you would go, if he lived in a small house, you'd probably be like, why is your whole kitchen covered in cartons of cigarettes?
He's got the inventory of a small tobacco shop.
Right.
At his house. Oh, that's what he's doing. Noel Gallagher, tobacconist, for when the band's not touring. He's opening up a shop.
Still, for having almost now 5 years, I guess, of not smoking. He said since 2015, he's not smoked a cigarette.
So what's he doing with them?
So
he's just giving them away? Hey, do you smoke?
This
Take
is
these.
$35,000 worth of stale cigarettes.
Well, they're still sealed, right?
I'd sign those shits and put them up on eBay.
Noel Gallagher cigarettes.
People would totally buy Noel Gallagher cigarettes.
Is this a Japanese EP? Noel Gallagher cigarettes?
No. Turns out it's actually just a pack of stale cigarettes. No. We've been talking too much about vaping and nicotine, though, and not talking about the smoke that we're here to talk about, right?
Yes, cannabis.
Do we have, what is the strain that we've been smoking?
It is called Rascal OG.
That Rascal.
I feel like I'm listening to Adam Carolla right now. This is actually a song.
Wait, the song is about a rascal?
It's called The Rascal King.
I had no idea that.
Yes. Rascal OG, bred by Cali Connection by crossing OG Kush and San Fernando Valley OG Kush. Or SFV Kush. SFV OG Kush. It's a lot of initials. That's the kids call it. Rascal OG smells of lemon and pine with a musty and grassy
NBC
taste.
crime drama.
Yeah. With
SFVOG.
With dense light and dark green colored buds, this sticky strain is soft and broken apart. Potent and euphoric, Rascal OG is a solid choice for any customer looking to relax and lift their mood.
What is it? Is it hybrid? Is that what you said? Did you say?
See, I don't like their Leafly's new. I can't tell. They used to have the color code where I could just look at it and be like,
Oh yeah, I don't see it on there. Usually that's what they lead with, indica, or that's the major classification. I guess he does say rascal in this.
oh, wow. Because, reading right over the top of it, it says hybrid. So it's a hybrid.
Oh yeah, there you go. That would be my guess from our experience smoking this so far. It hits that right down the middle that the good hybrids do. You get the nice heady buzz, you get relaxed, but you're not totally zonked.
I feel like Dawson should be talking right now.
Right?
Giving you Adam Carolla's Twitter handle.
Follow us on Twitter
Yeah.
at Adam.
Saying that Good Sports is next.
Right? Stay tuned for Good Sports. He doesn't sound like that at all.
That guy probably has $28,000 worth of cigarettes at his house.
I don't know that he'd actually let him go to waste, though.
No, he just bought them.
Well, if we're to believe Noel that he has all these cigarettes and he hasn't smoked in 5 years, then that's a testament to his willpower. He spent 5 years not smoking cigarettes when there were cartons just every time he turned around and opened a cupboard. There was a carton of cigarettes, apparently.
And you know what? I'm putting this out there. He's a Gallagher. He could be fucking lying. He's a Gallagher brother. This could all be a fucking lie.
I did start that with if we're to believe him, because it seems somebody who is famously...
Is it him or Liam is the one that's the shithead?
I think they both are. They're both addicts. They're both rock and roll stars. They both have egos.
No, but one is just notoriously a dick, and one is just kind of a dick every now and then.
If you told me that you hadn't had a drop to drink in 5 years, and I came over to your place, and every cupboard that I opened had a fifth of vodka in it, I'd be like, you are either amazing or a liar.
Yeah. I haven't been drinking 5 years. Oh, are we telling... Is today opposite day?
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
The Weedsman Podcast.
So what's the big news this week? We had not just Chicago. I was going to say Chicago came online.
Illinois came on, yeah.
All of Illinois, not just Chicago. They joined...
You're surrounded, Indiana. Well, actually, two.
Yeah, put them up.
Well, actually, more like Wisconsin, you're surrounded as well. Wisconsin and Indiana.
Yeah, come on, Wisconsin.
Got some looking in the mirror to do.
Start putting together some nice cheese pairings for cannabis. But
if you live in Milwaukee, you're like, oh, it's super easy to get weed now. I'll just drive down to the border and fucking get it.
And they had a big opening weekend, per se.
Hey, did they have more than 4 stores?
They did, yes.
Wow, imagine.
They got us beat.
Imagine that.
Right. We voted ours in first, and they got theirs open first, and had $3.2 million in sales the first day, estimated $2.2 the second day, for a total of just about $5.5 million worth of cannabis sold in Illinois, most of it in the Chicago area, over the course of 2 days. That could be Michigan. There's no reason why that isn't Michigan, other than the fact that...
Well, I will say the third largest city probably pad your numbers a little bit.
Okay, maybe we're not hitting $5.5 million, but still, the week rollout...
Like, if you go by media markets, Chicago's number 3, Detroit's number 13. Like, it's...
Yeah, that's true. But all those people, they just went out to the suburbs, right? They're still out there.
Yeah.
Just because they're not inside the city. But yeah, huge numbers that the dispensaries putting up. Businesses were selling out. Some of them just had to just straight up shut down. in Rockford, Illinois, 3 days in a row, a dispensary has been shut down because they just don't have enough product.
Damn right. Get it from Oregon. They have a lot.
While in Detroit, yeah, like I said, we've got this. Well, part of this is they were trying to get a jump start on it. We were supposed to expect it by the beginning of this year, although that seems to be delayed for whatever reason.
We did it. Remember?
We did.
December, but there's like four rec dispensaries in the whole state right now.
Right, but
you're talking about the city, of Detroit.
Well, no, I'm talking about both, but it wasn't a full rollout because it was only the businesses that already had established medical licenses that could open up early, which is kind of that's kind of shitty. First of all, it doesn't really give an even playing field, but whatever. But yeah, as far as Detroit, they haven't actually made the decision, I don't think, fully.
They delayed it till the end of January.
They have a moratorium on putting up any recreational stores. So this hybrid is sneaking up on me all of a sudden. So yeah, they voted to delay it, right? Which has now actually started a lawsuit from some of the companies that had bought licenses with the intention of opening up these businesses inside of Detroit. There's one lawyer that's representing all of them. They expect it to be turned into a class action lawsuit or combined in some way because they bought licenses from the state with the understanding that they had a day that they could open up on, only to have Detroit waffle on them.
Well, yeah, it does seem like Detroit says, oh, hey, thanks for the money. We'll let you know. That's such a city of Detroit move, too.
And, maybe it's just a couple months, right? But that makes a big difference especially when you're trying to grow this market all at once. People spend 3 months getting used to going to the suburbs for their weed. They might not come back to the city. I mean, first of all, give a person in Metro Detroit a reason not to go to the city. They'll take it.
Yeah. Well, just simply from would I like this errand to take me an entire hour, or would I like it to take me a half an hour? Like that's kind of where I'm at, where I got to go now. Like for me to go there, get what I need, and come back, it's an hour.
Yeah.
If I could turn that into a half an hour, so be it. I mean, the other thing is I could just get delivery. But then you got to tip them. That's extra money.
Delivery, yeah, that is the next thing. Because that's actually the next step for Colorado. With the new decade, Colorado is celebrating its now 7th year, is it?
Yeah, 2014. Yeah, I went in April of the year they started selling. I pretty much went there and came back and like, oh my God, how do I get a card? I can't not walk into a weed store.
As of this year, there's certain legislation that's going active. Amongst it, a pilot program, a 1-year program that certain businesses are signing up for in order to get delivery happening in Colorado.
Huh. Because I don't, Nevada does.
Yeah.
Although Nevada, like if you're in Vegas, there's some weird rule they won't deliver to the Strip.
Right. Probably it has more to do with deals that they have with the hotels and casinos.
But if I wasn't staying on the Strip, if I was staying off the Strip, they'd bring it to my hotel. Here you go, sir.
Yeah. The cardinal rule of the casino is don't acknowledge that anything is still happening outside the casino while you're in the casino, right?
But before it went rec, I was still able to get it delivered.
Were you?
Yeah, because they do reciprocity with the medical cards. In like 2014 or 2015, I had someone straight up just meet me out in front of the hotel.
Right, but I think when you go recreational and anybody coming to visit the Strip can now purchase cannabis, you're going to be more on the radar of the casino because the casino wants to be the one to provide everything for you.
It probably means that there's something coming on the Strip where like you're
why did the casino build a restaurant inside the casino?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it doesn't want you walking out those doors. It doesn't want you going out, seeing sunshine, thinking about your life and going, maybe I shouldn't go back in there and spend more money.
Yeah.
And on top of that, casinos make money on turnover, just like many businesses do. They want you to come in, drink, gamble, and either run out of money or get too drunk to stand, and then back to your room.
Check, and check.
But the casino is not
I've
interested
done all
in
of those.
They're not going to provide you cannabis, because then you're going to be like taking twice as long at the blackjack table and tying shit up. You're going to be thinking about other shit, and you might just go back to your room altogether. And the best they can hope for is to,
Yeah, but I would counter that with, it's another
make
thing
money off you with their gouged pricing on porno and bad movies.
I would counter that with, it's another thing to aid you in making bad decisions.
Yeah.
If you can't make bad decisions, that place closes.
But the thing
Not
is,
everyone reacts to pot like you and I, sir.
you're much more likely to make the types of bad decisions that casinos want you to make on alcohol than you are on cannabis. And even if you make the same decision, exactly, you beat me there. Even if you make the exact same bad decision that the casino wants you to make, you will do it faster on alcohol than
alcohol. You make it a couple hours quicker. Absolutely.
Yes. Like I said, turnover, right? That's part of what they make their money on.
Pot, you get really high. It takes you an hour to debate on making the bad decision.
And, another thing that's happening in Colorado on top of delivery was the social use, the permits for tasting room licenses and stuff like that. I think part of the reason why that has kind of been an afterthought to a lot of legislation, and it seems like a bigger problem to tackle than it looks like on its surface, is because the business model isn't completely apparent in this. A dispensary is pretty easy. People want weed. We stock weed. They come in, sell it, next, move on to the next person, right? You can't make that same type of money in a situation where you're going to sit somebody down and you're going to have more engaged conversations. They're going to have more social engagement there. They're going to want to hang out. The purchase amount is the same.
Stock up on snacks.
Like
That's how you make money.
Right. At a bar, it's different, right? A liquor store, you can go buy a 6-pack. You buy that one 6-pack, you take it home, and you drink it. You go to the bar, you might drink that 6-pack. You might also buy some for some other people. You might also drink longer and drink more and stay longer than you initially wanted to when you were sober. So there's continual opportunities to make money at a bar. When you go into a place that sells you cannabis and then offers you a place to hang out, you've bought the same amount of cannabis, maybe even less, right? You go to the dispensary, what are you buying for? You're going to stock up. I don't want to come back here for like 5 or 6 days at least, right? So you buy your stash and you take it home.
Maybe here you buy not only product, but you also buy blocks of time.
Well, right, but that's the thing. Just the fact that we're trying to figure this out tells you it's not
in a couple hours.
It's not as simple as just filling a demand. It's actually finding a way to sculpt that experience, much like Starbucks has. Find that balance. Starbucks found that balance by completely overcharging for its product. And I don't think that there's a brand of cannabis that has that luxury, so to speak, to try and get into this market and go, no, we're going to seriously gouge the customer on price, do it based on quality and experience, because most people just want their cannabis and let me get out of here.
Yeah. Well, just we're at the infancy.
Oh, the Starbucks experience for dispensaries.
Can I get it without the homeless people sitting in the corner?
You'll have your own bud tender. I'm putting in air quotes, but it'll be a guy like in a house robe and slippers, right?
He's dressed like Lebowski.
Yeah, and he comes out and he's got your stash, and he also whips out his acoustic and plays you some new songs that he's been tooling around with. And you watch like the middle third of Roadhouse and talk about aliens and Bigfoot. That's the experience. And you can overcharge for that and have that drug dealer experience. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, Colorado is looking at allowing hotels and restaurants, music venues, all these different things. But like I was saying, I think that if there was big money to be made in that specifically, in selling cannabis at social events, I think we would have solved this one already. I just don't think there is. Yes, you will sell cannabis at your event, but you're not going to sell you'll actually sell in higher quantity to your customer if you're selling out of a dispensary.
Higher ticket average.
It's kind of, right.
We're gonna have
it's
to
kind of the
things to
opposite of
complement
liquor.
the experience.
You know, like when you go to a concert, you're going to keep drinking while you're at the concert. But if you're going to smoke at the concert, you're going to smoke like 1 or 2 joints. What, maybe? You know, you're not going to buy a quarter of weed and burn through it. Your average person, you know, isn't going to do that at a concert venue.
The song will play in the lobby of your dispensary.
Yeah.
Your bud tender.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. Oh, just like they have Cheers-themed bars, right? We'll have Lebowski-themed head shops where you can actually buy cannabis. And we put it into a bowling ball and it rolls out. Like the Beer Baron episode.
All the security guards look like John Goodman.
Yes. I also want to do cannabis themed puzzle rooms. You know those locked rooms that, what do they call them, that you have to get out of? You know, you're looking at me like I'm making something up. What are they called?
Like, no, I'm trying to, it's some millennial bullshit they come up with and do they lock themselves in the room and you have to figure out how to get out.
Right.
Like that kind of shit.
Right. Only mine would be
it's like murder mystery, but gayer.
Right. The door's not locked. I just smoke you out so bad that you forget that you ever wanted to leave.
Yeah. You just forget where the door is.
Right. Other things that are changing this year, this new decade in Colorado, going to be testing for heavy metals.
Like Metallica?
Also selling hemp at dispensaries, which I didn't know there was a demand for, but I think that's more about the CBD. And you can actually get like hemp joints that you can smoke just for CBD.
Also make pants out of.
I was reading an article about how to throw a dinner party with cannabis.
Cook some food, buy some weed.
Right, or just I think it was really just parties in general.
Cook food, buy weed,
right.
invite people.
How to have a party and how to have cannabis be part of your party, which I found kind of amusing because we all of a sudden we act like we had just invented cannabis.
Yeah, just showing up. Hey, check this out. If you smoke it.
Really? So you don't know how, you have to have an article that explains what to do with cannabis at a party? They were like, well, consider dosing, not, you should consider, what am I trying to say here? You should be considerate of how much THC you're giving to your guests and how you should put it in the announcement about what's going to be offered. And I'm like, what? Or roll a couple blunts and expect that other people are probably going to show up with a couple blunts too, and everyone's going to get as high as they want to.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm having a party. I'm rolling some blunts. You should bring some blunts. And I'm cooking a meal.
One of them, it was like these two chefs that they were interviewing, and they were talking about having a chill out room, like putting on some nice mood lighting and some white noise and just like a beanbag chair or something and a fan blowing on you just in case you have too much weed.
Gay! What's the average age of the person in the room? 17? Sounds like shit you did at high school parties.
Let's see. How
about this? If you can't handle your weed, you can't come to my party.
Yeah. Let me find it real quick because there was one that I have to quote. Because they were talking about, how, you have to make sure that you understand that it's not all going to kick in at once if you're doing edibles, right? Which is true.
Okay, again, my friends would know this, for starters.
Right. But then they go on to say, like, it's not uncommon for certain edibles to take over an hour. I'm like, no, that's pretty uncommon. I'd say within like 40 minutes, if you're not feeling something, then you probably got a dud. You got duped.
They should go find that person and kill them. They should.
Here it is. How to throw a marijuana dinner party. With tips on dosing, ambience, and avoiding a buzzkill. Right, that's just it. Like, how about don't be a buzzkill and everything else will take care of itself. Oh, starting lower and building is always an option. In fact, microdosing, taking 2.5 milligrams to 5 milligrams continually throughout the day has become something of a trend. Yeah, we can't hang. Not with that type of dosing. 5 milligrams max.
That's it, said the Weitzman.
Patience is also key. Eat your THC-infused foods early in the party if you have the option, since the effect takes at least an hour to set in and can often take longer. No, it doesn't. It does not take, I would never describe it as at least an hour.
If you don't eat on an empty stomach, maybe.
And definitely not
if you eat on an empty
often
stomach.
Longer. But there's, that's what, it was mixing it with alcohol. Where is it? Okay. One of them says, one of the two chefs that they interview says, if you've been talking about mixing cannabis and alcohol, how to handle that. And he says, if you've been drinking during the dinner and eating edibles, it's going to be really funny because you're going to be coming down from your drunk and then get hit with this extreme head high. It's just going to like dizzy you out and it's just not fun. All right. You're coming down from your drunk. You had to drink with dinner and you got drunk off of it and then you're coming down off of it. I don't think this person drinks, first of all.
Yeah, right.
That doesn't sound like somebody who's had alcohol, right? Like if you have a drink with your dinner, you might feel a little bit of a buzz.
Yeah.
And then you make the decision whether to get drunk or if that's fine for you for the night. You're certainly at no state after dinner coming down off that drunk, unless that dinner was like an hour and a half long and it was mostly martinis.
Liquid dinner.
And even then, you'd still be drunk. You wouldn't be at any state of like coming down. You wouldn't. One course of a dinner is not enough time to get drunk and then come down off of it.
Yeah.
And also, your edible will kick in by the end of dinner.
What if I want to eat a whole weed dinner? What if the entire dinner had weed in it? Where's the rule on that? To like just strap in and spend the night.
I don't know. I'm just surprised that anyone thinks that this hard about. They're talking about hiring a DJ, because mood is so important to having a good experience on cannabis.
Well, we don't have a Bluetooth speaker, and people don't have their smartphone.
Right. First of all, you don't know 5 DJs. I think doesn't everyone know 5 DJs?
There's 2 DJs in this room, and there's 2 of us.
You're telling me that you throw a party and there's nobody that you could be like, hey, if you want to bring your record, they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like before you could even finish that sentence, they're like, I'm bringing my whole rig. What are you talking about?
Like I have a Beats speaker, and it has DJ mode where it essentially makes itself discoverable to the whole room, and people can just, all right, it's my turn.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I'm sure there are people who think this much about the parties.
Not
the
us.
Parties, yeah.
Hey, you kids been doing the partying?
Right. And again, it's not like we just invented this thing called weed, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same rules apply with beer. If you go to a party, you would expect that the person throwing the party bought like a 30 case, right? Mm-hmm. And that everyone showing up is bringing enough beer so that they have enough for them to drink and share with somebody else. And then everybody gets enough beer, right? It's the same with weed. Like I said, roll a couple blunts. Everyone shows up with some joints. Everyone gets high, right? Make some brownies if you want. If you want to do some infused food, just let people know what it is. That's all it is.
BYOC. That's what you call it.
Yes.
Bring your own crack. Wait.
Me, I'm going to be 45 this year, so I'm like, where's the raise at? I'm ready to be that guy.
What?
Right? I partied in my 20s. Now I'm ready to be that. I'm in my 40s. I'm divorced. My kids are starting to get to that age where they're going to have their own lives someday soon. I'm going to strap my keys on a carabiner to a loop in my jeans, get a whistle and some glow sticks, and get out on the scene.
It's going to be you.
I'm going to be that dude at the rave. Yes.
He's hip.
He's hip. He's cool. He's 45. Only that dude's got a baby on his back.
Come on, worms. Save this planet.
This, if listeners don't know, this is Kids in the Hall sketch.
Yeah.
Dude with long hair, kind of balding, leather jacket.
Yeah.
Listen, son. You were out all night. Where were you?
This is totally me.
Partying? That's cool. Listen, You want to smoke a doobie with your old man? 10:15 in the morning? Your loss. I'll split it with my lawyer.
That's you. It's the route you're heading down.
That's B minus the lawyer.
I ain't splitting it with anyone. It's Michigan. He can go get his own. Drive to Ann Arbor like the rest of us. All right. 2020. Not the TV show. The year. In effect. Everything's still where it is. At the Weisman 420 on Twitter. At the Weisman Podcast on Instagram. Check us out on... It's a huge list now. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker. Did I say Google Play? If I did, I'm saying it again. Spotify. Probably saying that one twice. There's so many. ChristopherMedia.net. Stay high.
Stay high.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Do it yourself doesn't have to mean all by yourself. Help is as close as HomeDepot.com/workshops now with free DIY live stream workshops. Live hands-on courses from real expert associates. Learn how to install floor tile, create a tile backsplash, replace a thermostat, and more. All from the best seat in the house, yours. To register, go to HomeDepot.com/workshops. Only from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.